I get it. Standing in the shop with a spool of copper or steel pipe and a half-finished job, you're staring at the price tags on these big-ticket cutting tools and wondering if you're about to waste another $100 on a machine that will sit half-used in a corner. You've probably spent a few minutes scrolling through endless forums, reading the occasional "works great" comment, and worrying that the next one you buy will be the one that finally lets you finish the job without a second set of hands. If you're sitting at a desk, holding a coffee, and thinking, is this the right tool for my little shop or on-site job? The answer is right here. The link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the kind of work the BLUEROCK CG211C is built for. This isn't a handheld pipe cutter you slip into your pocket. It's a motorized, magnetic gas cutting system designed for someone who needs to make straight cuts or bevels on medium-sized steel, stainless, or even copper pipe. Think HVAC installers, small fabrication shops, or a serious DIY enthusiast tackling a home renovation that involves venting or fire suppression piping. If you're a casual DIYer who only cuts a pipe once a year, you'll likely find the upfront cost and the learning curve a little overkill. Conversely, if you've got a backlog of pipe cutting projects, or you run a small business where consistent, clean cuts are part of your daily workflow, the CG211C can become the workhorse that actually speeds up production. The first practical strength I noticed is the magnetic base. Once you position the torch head onto the pipe, the built-in magnet locks it in place with a firm grip. In real-world usage, that means you can walk a few steps back, adjust a valve, or even have an assistant set up the flame without worrying about the torch slipping. That's a safety win. No more juggling a handheld torch while trying to keep the pipe steady, which reduces the chance of an uneven cut or a flare-up. The device also comes with an adjustable straighter bevel mount, which is the part that often trips up users of simpler torch kits. In practice, you can set a 45-degree bevel on the pipe and lock it quickly, then walk away and let the motor do the cutting while you prep the next piece. For someone who needs to make a series of angles, say, a pipe routing for a custom exhaust system, this saved me about 15 to 20 minutes per job compared with manual adjustments. Now, let's be clear about the power controls. The CG211C includes a separate motorized power control box, which supplies the flame intensity and the cutting speed. This split design helps keep the torch head light, but it also means you have a cord running from the control box to the torch. In a cramped workshop, those cords can become a tripping hazard if you're not careful about cable management. I found it helpful to lay the control box on a sturdy workbench and run the cord along the edge of the bench, clipping it with zip ties. It's an extra step, but once you set that up, the system runs smoothly. If you're expecting a completely cordless solution, that'll be a disappointment. One of the biggest hidden trade-offs that many first-time buyers overlook is gas consumption. Because the system is motorized, it draws a steady flow of oxygen and fuel gas, typically acetylene, to maintain the flame while the cutting head moves. In a well-ventilated shop with large gas cylinders, this isn't an issue. However, on a job site where you're limited to small, portable gas bottles, the CG211C will finish a cut faster but will also use more gas per foot of pipe cut than a manual torch. The value, then, comes from balancing speed against fuel cost. If you're cutting a few short pieces, a manual torch might still be cheaper, but if you're cutting long runs, say, a 30-foot run of 2-inch pipe, the motorized system can shave half the time off the job, and the extra gas usage becomes marginal compared with the labor saved. Let's talk about the practical weaknesses. The first one that shows up in experience is the setup time. Unpacking the kit, connecting the power control box, hooking up the gas lines, and calibrating the magnetic base can easily take 15 to 20 minutes if you've never seen the system before. That isn't a deal breaker, but it does mean you need to factor that into your project schedule the first time you use it. Second, the machine's weight. While it's portable for a benchtop system, it does require 2 people to move it around a job site. If you're working alone in a tight space, you'll have to plan for a way to get the unit close enough to the pipe without dragging it across the floor, which could cause scratches or damage to delicate flooring. Who should buy it? If you are an HVAC contractor who frequently needs to cut to 2-inch pipe for ductwork, or a fabricator that works on stainless steel piping.